Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7, and for today's video I'll be talking about The Flash's 150th episode, and I'll be theorizing about what we could potentially see throughout the back half of The Flash Season 7 as well as the 150th episode. So as of now we are 6 episodes into The Flash Season 7, in which the first 3 episodes were to obviously wrap up the season 6 storyline with the whole Mirror Master and Mirror Iris stuff. And then starting from episode 4, we have started the official season 7 storyline with graphic novel number 3 coming into play, in which we have been dealing with the forces, where we find out that the Speed Force is not the only cosmic energy out there in the multiverse, but there are 3 others, which are the Strength Force, which is the red lightning and it's used by Fuerza, the Sage Force, which is the blue lightning and is used by Psyche, and the most recent one we have explored, that being the Still Force, which is obviously the green lightning, and it's possessed by Dion. Now, we haven't had the main villain revealed just yet, but from the most recent episode, that being episode 6, the Speed Force was quite suspicious. Now, I have done a theory video theorizing about whether or not the Speed Force could end up being our main villain for this storyline, so if you guys are interested in checking that out, it will be linked in the description down below. But this Force storyline will pretty much be our main plot for graphic novel number 3, which is obviously episodes 4 to 11, in which we've already finished episodes 4, 5, and 6, so that is episodes 7 to 11. And then we will be moving on from that and we'll be getting graphic novel number 4 with a brand new villain and a brand new storyline to explore. But also, as of the time I'm recording this video, we are 139 episodes into The Flash Season 7, in which it's obviously crazy that we hit that milestone of 100 episodes in the first place. But with episode 17, which is also our penultimate episode, another thing we will be having playing out during that episode is that it is the 150th episode of The Flash. And obviously, since that is a huge milestone and it's a special type of episode, we should be expecting some returning characters. So yeah, for this video I'll be talking about the back half of The Flash Season 7 as well as the things we should be expecting for the 150th episode. But once again guys, remember this is just speculation and theories, so do not take what I am going to talk about as a way to get excited, because if the outcome is different to what I theorized about, in which it's very likely that I am wrong, and if you guys take what I theorized about as a way to get excited, that will lead to you guys getting disappointed, and that is just not something I would want you guys to have. I would want you guys to enjoy the show as much as possible. So for that purpose, be sure to take into account that this is just speculation and theories, nothing more than that. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. So yeah, since the 150th episode will be the back half of The Flash Season 7, I'll start to talk about the back half of the season at first and what we should expect from it. Now, a couple of months ago in an interview, Eric Wallace mentioned that The Flash Season 7 was going to be heavily Speedster related and that they would dive deep into the Speedster mythology itself. And this was something we didn't get to see play out just yet. And saying that the first half of the season seems to be focusing on the forces, this Speedster storyline should be playing out during the back half of the season, since we are having a different storyline for the time being. Now, we also know that we should be expecting to see the real Godspeed, and since this season is supposed to be Speedster related in some way, this leads me to believe that Godspeed will be the main antagonist for The Flash Season 7, which I cannot wait for. We are finally getting an antagonist which will challenge our Scarlet Speedster once again with the speed aspect of things, so it will just feel great having another Speedster villain. And although Godspeed is more of an anti-hero than he is a villain in the comics, to serve a purpose on the show, I think he will be changed up into a full-on main villain, and I cannot wait to see how that will play out. Now, Eric Wallace did say during DC Fandom that Godspeed, unlike the Reverse Flash, has no sort of personal connection, which we have seen towards Barry. So the question is, why is Godspeed angry at the Flash? And obviously he left that at as mystery, if you want to say. And obviously when we left off from The Flash season 6, we had the mystery behind the Godspeed clones with the one who sent me once infinite velocity. We had that Godspeed mystery being a thing which has been established during episode 18 of season 6, and it will play out during The Flash season 7, and it's pretty much, you know, like who is sending these Godspeed clones, in which we know it's the real Godspeed because we will be seeing the real Godspeed during this season. Now, in another interview, Eric Wallace mentioned that one of the two main villains would also have a personal connection to both Barry and Iris as a couple. So I think that is how Godspeed will come into play as our main antagonist during graphic novel number 4. I think Godspeed will have some sort of a connection to both Barry and Iris, whether it's past history or something they do in the future. Whatever it is, I think Godspeed will play out somewhere like that. And that villain that has a personal connection to both Barry and Iris as a couple cannot be from graphic novel number 3, because as I said before, we are dealing with the Forces, and I doubt the Forces will have that big of a connection to both Barry and Iris, unless they do something which has something to do with, you know, them reviving the Speed Force back in episode 3, and the villain somehow plays a part like that. But I hope they don't do that, because I just don't think that will be too ideal to do. I would rather have that Godspeed having a personal connection to both Barry and Iris rather than the Forces itself. Now, this next interview was sometime around the same time when the DC Fandom was released. So Eric Wallace during that interview did say that we would be seeing different speedsters this season, whether it's good speedsters or bad speedsters. And this leads me to believe that he was either talking about the back half of the season, saying that we're dealing with the Forces for the first half of the season, but also when he talks about returning speedsters and bad speedsters, I think that he is talking about the 150th episode, because that is a special episode, meaning we should be expecting some sort of returning characters for that, because like Arrow, for example, when they did their 150th episode during season 7, they had a lot of returning characters. They had Barry Allen, who appeared on the 150th episode. They had Moira Queen come back. They had Thea Queen come back. And they had like Quentin Lance come back as well. So yeah, I am kind of expecting the same thing with the Flash's 150th episode. Obviously, it will be a lot harder due to pandemic restrictions, but I would say that we will definitely be getting some sort of returning characters for this episode. Now, when we talk of like, you know, bad speedsters or good speedsters returning, I would once again say that they should be appearing for the 150th episode, because unless it's a filler episode, why would we have a returning speedster villain, for example, showing up during a main storyline which doesn't involve them? If it's a good speedster, it would make a lot more sense, but if it's a bad speedster returning sometime during the season and it's not the 150th episode, I wouldn't get the point unless it's a filler episode, which is why when Eric Wallace is saying that we should be expecting good speedsters or bad speedsters appearing, I think he was talking about the 150th episode. So I will firstly go over the returning heroes and who I think could potentially appear for that episode, and then I'll go over the villains once I've went over the heroes. So firstly, let's go over the obvious, Bart Allen. A couple of weeks ago, we got the recent announcement that Bart Allen was going to appear this season during the 150th episode, so we know that is 100% happening. However, the difference with this character is that he will not be playing the grandson of both Barry and Iris, but he will be playing the future son of Barry and Iris. Now, how he gets introduced into the season, I have no idea. If I was to guess, maybe it's to help Team Flash take down Godspeed or something like that. And if Godspeed is still from the future post-crisis, Bart Allen would come in handy in helping them face off Godspeed, because if both of them are from the future, I am sure they would have definitely faced off each other before. But the next character is Wally West, aka Kid Flash. Now, unlike Bart Allen, this is not 100%. In fact, we don't even know if he will be showing up this season. But if it is the 150th episode, you would guess that he would make some sort of an appearance. However, I don't think we will be seeing Wally for this episode or the season at all. From what I have heard, the actor has no interest in the role, but he would be down to do like 1 to 2 episodes. However, the pandemic rules are another issue, and to shoot a couple of scenes, of an episode and spend 2 weeks in quarantine, I just don't think it would be something Kanan Lonsdale would be down to do. Although it would be pretty cool to see him appear, I just don't think Wally will be appearing for the 150th episode. Obviously, I could be wrong. And lastly, for the Speedster heroes, Jay Garrick. Now, Jay Garrick was 100% confirmed to appear on an episode of The Flash Season 7 at one point, and saying that we are dealing with the forces for the first half of the season. I do not think Jay Garrick will be appearing then, but he will be appearing sometime during graphic novel number 4, which is the back half of the season. And although he was confirmed to appear, I don't know which episode it is, but we do know he will be appearing for sure. But I would say that the most likeliest option for him to return would be the 150th episode. He has not been seen on set so far, but I was able to, get in touch with Canada Graphs and get a bit more context. And he said that if John Wesley's ship doesn't arrive to Vancouver by the 19th of April, there is no way he will be appearing in the 150th episode. And by the time I'm recording this video, it is the 11th of April. But moving on to the villains, since the day this character has been name dropped, literally everyone wants to see him, that being Red Death. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see him too, but I just don't think we will be seeing Red Death anytime soon on the show. I just think he was just a character that was just name dropped, and that's about it. But that's just a mistake the show will have to deal with, because now so many people want to see Red Death because of this name drop, but he definitely will not be appearing on the show anytime soon. Now, saying that Godspeed is likely to be our main antagonist on the show for graphic novel number 4, he will definitely be on the 150th episode if he is our main villain. The thing with this episode is that it's episode 17, and episode 18 is the finale, meaning episode 17 is the penultimate episode of the season, and there is no way the penultimate episode of the season will be a filler episode or anything like that. This episode must be connected to the story somehow, meaning if Godspeed is our main villain, he is definitely in this episode. Now, this character is no-brainer, but there is no way you can have a 150th episode without having some sort of Reverse Flash on it. Reverse Flash is literally the most iconic villain on the show, and the thing is, this character would be the most likeliest villain to return if any of the Speedster villains were to return, saying that Tom Cavanagh would be filming as the original timeline Wells already, so it won't be too hard for him just to put on a yellow suit and become the Reverse Flash once again. Zoom is another anticipated character, and although Eric Wallace has teased that he would love for Zoom to return at some point in the near future, once again due to pandemic issues, I don't think we will be seeing Zoom appearing for the 150th episode of the show. However, if they were to just put a body double in the suit and roll with that, that would be a bit more likely. But if they were to utilize Zoom, they would want to use Teddy Sears. So for that sake, I'm going to say that I don't think Zoom will be appearing for the 150th episode. And lastly, for the villains, Savitar. Now, we have seen a dream sequence of Savitar during episode 5, and he was there alongside Reverse Flash. Now, Savitar could easily be another likely villain to return, mainly because they could just put someone on the suit like they did for episode 5, or just easily CGI the suit and just go with that and put him on action. He would probably be the second likeliest other than Reverse Flash to appear if he was to appear. And if they were to do a scene with Savitar without the suit, well, Grant Gustin would be there as well, so he would easily be able to do some scenes as Savitar if Savitar was to return for the episode. So Savitar is definitely more likely than Zoom. And saying that we've already seen some sort of Savitar during episode 5, it is very possible that we could see Savitar for the 150th episode. It just depends on the scale on how big the 150th episode will be, where we will be able to actually determine who will be showing up. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below whether you guys want to see any returning Speedster good hero or a villain appear for the 150th episode. I'm interested to see your thoughts towards all of this. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.